question has to do with how do you deal with low self-esteem, body image issues, how do you feel beautiful? Let me state this. This is not just a female issue, though it generally lights there more. Most people deal with insecurities in our present-day culture over body image and the way that they look. We know in this room by our last anonymous survey that over 60% of our girls had dealt with some form of eating disorder, and over 10% of our guys had dealt with some form of eating disorder. And that's a stunning statistic because that's you. I mean, I'm not saying like there were other people sitting in these chairs. You were the people. You are them, you know. And so we all kind of look and go, but inside we know that we're the one, you know. And so that's the truth. Self-esteem, guys, is not, the idea that you need to feel beautiful is not a bad thing, or attractive or handsome or whatever. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think what's bad is the way that it's twisted in culture to only be reflective of things on the outside. And I think at some point in time you got to realize that your outside beauty, and this sounds cliche and like something your dad would say, but please hear me out. Your outside beauty is most definitely affected by your inside beauty. Most definitely. You ever met someone who is technically pretty, but their attitude was so unattractive to you that you never thought of them as beautiful? Someone who just, they repulsed you so bad by the things that they did that you did not think of them as beautiful, though you knew they were beautiful technically. The same thing is true in a positive way, that your beauty is usually a reflection of what's going on inside. Now, self-esteem and your need for that confidence, the problem with that is you think it's going to be found in being someone of the opposite gender finding you attractive, and it does not satisfy, okay? Even marriage is not going to satisfy this thing inside of you if this is a problem for you. Hear me. I know husbands that tell their wives they're beautiful every day of their entire life, and the wife still thinks that she is not, and still struggles with weight issues, or still cries when she looks in the mirror. At some point in time, you got to realize we're broken here. We are very, very broken on this. Somewhere we've lost the true center of what your worth is supposed to be comprised of. And the only way I know to begin to change that is to approach it from two places. You got to approach it from a spiritual place. It does not feel like a spiritual problem, but it is. Value is a spiritual place. When I come to pray to God, I don't just pray based off of my value. I pray based off of His. Because every time I try to pray to God based off of mine, my mind becomes filled with all the things I know are not right. And it's a hard thing. If you guys tell me all the time I have trouble praying because I don't feel like I'm good enough, and I don't feel like I've been righteous enough, and I don't feel like I did enough good things, and I know I had this bad thing happen, and I made this bad choice. At some point in time, you neutralize that and you say, that is not the basis for why I'm coming to God. I'm coming to God because of who He is, not because of who I am. I need who He is to change who I am. That's why I'm coming to Him. So at some point I have to acknowledge that I'm lesser than who I should be. That's why I need you, God. And if I come to you only when I feel like I'm not lesser, then I'll come very seldom, one. And two, when I come, I'll come in the wrong heart because I feel like I can come because I'm good enough. It's the same exact concept put into spiritual terms, put into physical terms. Your self-esteem and your self-image are a reflection of yourself. And at some point in time, if you don't know the value of yourself because of who God is, I know that sounds like a weird thing and almost a preachy thing, and please don't take it that way. At some point in time, you got to be evaluated based off of something other than yourself, and just your appearance, and just the things in your physical makeup. You're more than that. When I was 14 years old, in the 8th grade, maybe 13, the senior pulled my shorts down in the gym class in front of a bunch of girls I was talking to, and I was devastated. I can remember, I'm just sharing, I can remember being 12 and having older friends from church make fun of the way that I looked, and I did not even realize how bad it affected me until I got married, until I was engaged. And my wife, I was surprised that my wife liked the way that I looked. Genuinely surprised. I'm still genuinely surprised by that, if I'm being honest with you, you know? And when she says something to me complimentary, we do the same thing to each other. She says something complimentary, you know what I say? Well, you know, I literally don't take it. I go, thanks, honey, and I either say something to the effect of, well, yeah, but, you know, I'm not very muscular, and, you know, I need to go work out some more, and, you know, if I say it to her, it's like, oh, no, I look awful today. Like, something's wrong with us in that respect. Attraction and beauty should not be issues just of that, you know. At some point in time, what I started saying was, thanks. I'm trying to accept the fact that perhaps my wife finds me attractive. Do you realize what a jacked up statement that is? I have to make it. Shouldn't my wife be attracted to me? Shouldn't that be the reality? Girls, shouldn't you feel that way if someone actually loves you? Do you want them to just love you for what's on the outside? You say you don't, but you act as if you do, because that's all you're going to worry about, and you're going to assume they won't love you because of what's on the outside. And the bottom line is the outside is connected to the inside. And at some point in time, the outside is going to change. It's going to change. You will get older. You can't stop it. You will fluctuate in weight. You may have physical ailments and other things that change you. At some point in time, we've got to figure out where our true value lies and be okay with that. Now, it doesn't mean we don't exercise and take care of ourselves and fix our hair and brush our teeth and all those things. You could do things that are superficial to the outside to help the cosmetic image of who you are to a certain extent. And then post that, you got to stop believing that what you're seeing, guy or girl, on the outside is truly who you are. I'm still there, 33, married with a kid. Still have to fight that thing sometimes to say, you know, oh, geez, I'm losing my hair. You know, I hope Laura's going to be okay with this. She laughs. Like, well, that's stupid. What do you mean you're going to be okay with this? And then she does the same thing, you know, well, you know, honey, of course I still love you. I mean, it's funny how we can see beauty in others and not in ourselves. So if God made you and God loves you, then there's beauty in you. So whether you feel like it's on the outside or not, you have to accept that value. It is imperative that you do, or you will discredit yourself and you will do disservice to your marriage and your relationships, because it's not easy. It's not easy whenever you don't have any value in yourself for you to allow others to have value in you. So I think it's an important thing that we keep addressing. I could talk all night about that. That's very, very important. But you can think that and everybody goes, yeah. And then some of you are going to go home and throw up because you don't see it. I mean, it makes sense to you in theory, but in practice, you're addicted to not having value, okay? And that is a spiritual matter. And that's something that God can change in us. I really believe it. You got to ask Him. And it's not prideful for you to say that I'm beautiful. It's prideful for you to say, I'm the most beautiful person in the world. That would be kind of weird. But to say that, you know, I believe I have beauty. I'm not surprised that someone would find me attractive. I'm not surprised by that. I think that's healthy, okay? No matter who you are, what you look like, that should be your reality. I pray that we move that way. Good question.